Hey beautiful people, my name is Shanae. Welcome to my channel for those of you who are new here. Today I wanted to have a little bit of a sit down chat with my cup of tea, so feel free to grab a tea. I want to share a bit of a story time with you. My journey to self-love and self-acceptance and releasing the beliefs that I had about myself, because let me tell you, it is most definitely a journey, because I believe that your heart is the center of your power. When you tap into that space of unconditional love, that's when things flow easily and effortlessly, and you really are able to create the life that you really want. I believe that one of the greatest fears that people hold is to be their complete, true, authentic self, and that not be enough. That in doing so, they make themselves vulnerable. There's no way that people could really love and accept us for who we are at our core. It's so funny because at the same time, we all put up these walls and these mirrors and wear these masks to our friends and our colleagues and society. Yet one of the greatest human desires is that unconditional love and connection. We need that to thrive. Most people don't actually love themselves for who they are completely. It makes me really sad when I see my friends and my family tearing themselves down to fit some kind of mold or idea that they perceive is perfection, and they project this image out into the world that isn't really who they are. And if they knew how the world really sees them, and how when they do show up in those moments as their most raw and authentic selves, that is actually what is captivating and is their real light. For such a long time, I dimmed my own light to fit into what I perceived was perfection. I was forever chasing this ideal person that I wanted to be, and I think it is important to have goals to really work towards becoming your higher self and a better person. However, there's a real difference when you are leveling up to that place from a place of love, as opposed to fear and conditioning and the feeling of not being good enough or not being worthy or being unlovable. When you are trying to achieve these goals and these things that you think will make you accepted by everyone around you, but that's not real, and that's not the real you. And the more that we truly embrace every single self, every flaw that we have within ourselves, and we own that shadow side and that side that we want to hide and we want to protect from the world, when we step into that, that is when the real power comes in. I know sometimes people talk about self-love and love yourself, and growing up that definitely wasn't a thing. I don't think I really ever heard that phrase until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, more when social media really started. So there definitely are some real amazing benefits for social media. There are also some really toxic elements in terms of comparison and self-worth. And from a young age, I was not consciously aware of this, but I didn't feel worthy just being me. I feel that a lot of people are also in this same position. It's why when we see a baby or young children and they just are illuminating their unique lights with 0 F's given, it's why we're so drawn to them, why we want to just soak up all of that energy and that freedom, Because as you get older, something happens and we start putting up those walls and hiding the parts of ourselves that we deem to be unworthy or not good enough. Yet those things are really what does make you special and who you are. I've really started to embrace those flaws that I thought were flaws. If you think back to a time in your childhood or your teen years and growing up, and maybe try and think of the first time that you really felt that you had to pull back or you couldn't show who you truly were, or something was wrong with you. Try and think back to a memory. FYI, this is a little bit vulnerable. I'm really trying my best to just share openly. But yeah, so it was when I was 9 or 10, the end of year dance concert. Myself and only one other girl had worn fake tan for the dance concert. This was the first time that I had worn fake tan, and I guess I kind of thought because I was doing it that everyone else who was on the fairer side would be tanning as well. When I got there, literally me and maybe one or two other girls were the only ones that had got tan on. Obviously we were really young and it's not like I was wearing tan 24/7. It was just a dance concert to give me a bit of glow. And I look back now and I think, why did I even feel that like that was such a big thing? But being that 9-year-old self, I remember feeling not good enough and that everyone else was, you know, good as they were, yet I had to change myself in order to be good enough. I was very insecure about it. It's not something that I really thought about past this event. I rediscovered this memory doing this life course years ago, and that was the first conscious moment that I really remember where just being me wasn't enough. There are plenty of other examples that has reared its head. That's the root of where that belief came from. I believe that you can only receive and give the amount of love that you have for yourself internally. Unconsciously, that has been a significant theme throughout my life. I was always seeking this love and this validation from a partner, from a person. I started dating at a really young age. 8 or 9, I was going on my little dates to the movies. From that age through till 2 years ago, I pretty much had someone that I was talking to, or a boyfriend, or a love interest. It's not like when something would end, I would immediately just jump into the next best thing or the next thing that fell into my lap. I wasn't actively, desperately just like, oh my God, I need a boyfriend or anything like that. However, it just always seemed to kind of flow to me. That's because I was seeking that love and validation from someone else because I didn't really love myself. So I was wanting something to kind of fix and heal these internal wounds that I had that I wasn't aware of. You know, with a partner, like that's not their job to make you feel whole and complete. That is up to you. It is your responsibility to really love and approve of yourself. And it is not up to them to make you happy. And when you don't have that unconditional love and appreciation and self-worth and acceptance, you also attract people that are in a similar situation, whether they're mirroring the same wounds that you have within yourself, or you usually attract a partner that is very similar to the way that our parents either gave us love or the way in which we wanted that love and to be seen from our parents. This has definitely been true for me at certain stages within my journey. One of the catalysts for myself to hit rock bottom was being in an extremely emotional, toxic, and abusive relationship. And this person was so consumed by his own pain, and all I wanted to do was fix and help and nurture. Yet in doing so, I completely forgot about me. I was totally consumed into that situation, and I know this happens to a lot of people. I don't feel any resentment towards this person because it has made me stronger into who I am today, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And it taught me so many lessons. And now that I do have that unconditional love and acceptance for myself, which it's not like you just get to that place and it's like smooth sailing and every single day is amazing and you love every single little thing about yourself. No, that's not true. But those days are now few and far between, or they are just moments of old beliefs that pop up. After that relationship ended, my self-worth was shattered. A part of my identity and my happiness was tied to this relationship, and I felt like I had failed in some way because this relationship hadn't worked out, which was completely for the best. I started dating someone about 5 months after, and this guy treated me like a queen, and what I know now that I deserve. However, because my self-worth and love for myself was completely shattered, I could not accept this love. I had so many walls up. I was petrified to let someone in again. And in the end, it was the right decision because I was definitely in no way, shape, or form healed and ready. If you don't feel that in here, truly, you're never going to experience that, which is really sad because everyone deserves to experience love. Because it's the most powerful, beautiful thing that there is. I find that people give so much from their cups. They try and please everyone and help everyone and all of that, and quite often they neglect themselves. When we fill up our own cup and it's suddenly overflowing and abundant, that's when you start attracting the right people and situations and circumstances into your life that are going to level you up. But it all comes back to how you feel about yourself, because the world is only going to show you how you feel about yourself. It is a mirror. It is always going to mirror you. That's why it is so important to do the inner work and the healing and to really take that time. That's what I did when I hit my rock bottom, when everything was stripped back. I couldn't work. I had moved back across the country after 5 years of grinding. I had to stop my career goals. My health was terrible. I was so lost in the darkest place. I was completely broken. But when you are cracked open, that is how the light shines through. And the things that break us apart are what really allows us to become whole again, and we get to rebuild with the knowledge of the lessons that we have learned, and the foundations now are stronger and they are of a higher caliber. It's crazy because the things that I have accepted in past relationships, I'm not saying that those relationships were just one-sided. It absolutely takes two to tango, and you are also partly responsible by staying in those toxic relationships, whether that be romantic or in the workplace or wherever. You hold accountability too. And it's amazing now that I have got to that place. The things that I am willing to accept and not accept are so much greater. But also, now I am attracting friendships and other things into my life that are of a vibrational match to where I'm at now. When I was also at that rock bottom and everything was stripped back and stripped bare, all I had was myself. We don't quite often spend a lot of time with ourselves, but it is so important because that's when you really get to listen to your soul and discover who you are. I decided to not date for an entire year because I just wanted to discover who I am, and I fell in love with who that person was. And it's not conceited to do so. It's not an ego thing. It's a beautiful thing when you can really get to that place, and then you can show up in that authentic light, and you no longer need to hide the parts of yourselves that you think won't be accepted. Another theme that has been reoccurring throughout my entire life is body image. And have you ever said, oh, like, I'll be happy when I lose like 4 kilos or 5 kilos. My stomach is flat. I held my self-worth at times directly linked to how I looked physically. It was amazing how many situations I attracted because I held that belief that I'm not good enough unless I'm a certain weight. I remember feeling as a kid really big compared to these 2 other girls that I did a trio with. If I have a photo, I will pop it in now. I remember feeling like they were so skinny and they were so perfect. I was like the odd one out. I just felt really, really insecure, which is crazy because when you look at the photo, it's like, we're all tiny. It just shows you how much our perception of the situation or of event is subjective, because hindsight is such a beautiful thing. When you do look back, you go, oh, like, that wasn't as bad, or what was I thinking? But I had to do the inner work. I had to clear the beliefs of being unlovable and not feeling good enough and worthy in order to now feel whole and complete. On top of all that health stuff, I decided to go off the pill. And I had been on that since I was 15. My body really showed me how I was feeling about myself when I went off the pill. I had acne. I didn't want to mask the problem anymore. I wanted to deal with it head on. And emotionally speaking, acne is lack of self-worth and confidence. I literally could not escape my mirror because every time I looked in the mirror, it was reflecting to me how I started feeling about myself. And when I started doing the inner work, along with other things as well, and healed myself the natural way, dealt with the shit, the years and years of false stories that I had been telling myself, that's when my skin started to heal. At the end of the day, you are the only one that's going to be with you from when you were born until when you go. And if you aren't happy and content within your own company, I really advise that you do take the time to invest in yourself and give back. Learn to love and embrace the things that make you you. Because guess what? When we really do that and we step into that power and we take off the mask and we strip back, and that is when we really become happy and fulfilled within ourselves, and we don't need anything in our lives to change, any condition, any person, any job, any situation to make us feel whole. This is something that I am so passionate about because I see so many people putting out a version of themselves to the world, yet when they come back to who they are at their core and they come home to themselves and they learn to embrace that, that's when things really begin to shift and flow and become light. I really hope that you get to that place. it is a constant thing of ups and downs along the way. But let me tell you, it is such a freeing experience being here. I finished that a little while ago and I was just about to start editing, and then I realized that I forgot to talk about some things that I do that really help me step into the best version of myself. Is from my last video, the 10 things I do to raise my vibration. Check that out if you haven't already. But also something that I really do is daily affirmations. I will leave a link below to 2 of my favorites. You just like pop them in and they're guided, or you can write your own. I am so happy and grateful now that I have this unconditional love and appreciation and acceptance for myself. Quieting the external noise when you are going through this healing journey. Reading books. I can leave a couple of links to some of my favorite books that have really helped me, and journaling has helped massively. But really the biggest thing is doing the inner work, doing the shadow work, discovering why you feel the way you do about yourself, getting rid of those limiting beliefs. I have another video about that. And just stepping into that unapologetic light of yourself. But the first step is stripping back the layers, dealing with what's going on in here. I hope that that helps, but check out my other 2 videos if you want some more in-depth. This was more just about my story time, my journey, and just to inspire you that you can get there, because I used to be so mean and cruel to myself. Once you shift those beliefs, the possibilities are absolutely endless. I have faith in you. I know a couple of my friends that have also healed a lot of their past, and it's just amazing to see who they are now with nothing holding them back, and this unconditional love and appreciation, and just seeing all of the amazing things that have in turn showed up for them is amazing. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to shine your unique light, because it makes a difference when you do.